There we go.
What is going on, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Access Omaha. We're having some technical difficulties over here. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are very excited to bring you another episode, and we have a very special guest with us today. That we're going to have some good stories, we feel.
Yeah, we are.
So we have Mike Kelly with us, guys, from Mission Insurance. And Mike's mission is your legacy is their mission. So we got some really good stories coming. And why don't you tell us how we know Mike?
That's deep. I like that.
Very good.
Yeah, so we go back, actually. I met Mike when I was working over with JD Erb and the Erb Group, and I think that's how we got introduced. Shout out JD Erb, the man, the legend, the man who taught me everything I know in real estate, so I love that man. But so do we. And so he connected us, and then shortly thereafter, I think Vanessa and I ended up switching our insurance over to you, and a brotherhood was formed as well. So that means more to me than just the insurance, but just the relationship that we have. So it is a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I'm actually getting ready to enjoy some of this because I want to know. I'm going to dig into some of these things, but yeah, that's how I met Mike, and been sending clients your way nonstop ever since. And the man takes care of my people like I'd want them to take care of my friends or my family, and so for that I'm truly grateful. So thank you, sir.
Dang.
And shout out Mike Kelly, Mission Insurance.
What an intro, man. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from? Where are you from? Omaha originally? Did you grow up here?
No, my wife Liz and I moved to Omaha, Nebraska in 2003.
Okay.
We're originally out of Minnesota, a town called Mankato.
Shout out Gophers.
Gophers,
Yeah.
right? Yes, you're a Nebraska fan, sorry.
Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, we like the Vikings.
Yep.
Yeah, we like the Vikes, we like the Twins.
Love it.
All the sports up there.
Yep.
Right. The town is Mankato. It's about an hour south of Minneapolis. And we moved down here in 2003. We didn't have any family or friends down here. We primarily moved down here for real estate. Of course, Liz is also a part of Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plug Liz.
Yeah,
There you
Liz
go.
Kelly. Thank you
Liz
very
Kelly,
much.
that's his wife.
Okay.
Yes. Formerly with CBS Home. Till the merge, she came back. She came over here in I think it was January of this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Do you see Liz around much? You know?
I don't. You know, I've been trying to recruit her to my team for years, but
No pressure, Liz.
there's no pressure. Liz, shout out Liz. Anytime you want to come over, just let me know. But no, she does very well, and definitely is a great agent. I've actually done a couple deals with her, so
I feel like I recognize
always
her.
smooth.
Like she's been list side on some transactions that I've been a
Yeah.
party to or something.
Yeah, she's been around a long time.
Yeah, she has.
Wow, interesting.
Those are the agents I like to work with.
Yeah, kind of the
Those-
rocks of everything.
Yep.
Yep.
They know what's going on.
Yep.
So what else? Tell us a little bit more about your personal life. So you got Liz, do you have kids?
Yeah, we do. We have an 11-year-old son named Noah.
Okay.
We have an 8-year-old named Graceland.
Yeah.
And then we have baby Lydia, who's not quite a baby anymore, and she's 2.5.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Noah's a good name. That's my brother's name.
Yes. Yeah, good solid Christian name.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. Shout out Noah. What's up, brother?
Well, shout outs. I like it today.
Yes. Yeah, so we came down here, we were engaged at the time, and we got married, and here we are.
Wow.
Home is Omaha, Nebraska.
I love hearing that. But I also have to ask the question, like you're in Minnesota, right? And you said you didn't know anybody here. So how did Omaha become like the place that you guys made the decision to just get up and go?
You know, I was engaged at the time, as I said. Any smart man will follow. If your fiance says she wants to move to Omaha, Nebraska, I kind of
Yeah.
chuckled and said, well, I don't see any mountains or water or professional teams. What? So, I came down with her, and real estate was the primary motive, I think, for Liz. The markets in the Midwest, we want to stay close because we're born and raised in Minnesota. So we
Yep.
want to stay close. The market, even back then, was really strong, and that was the decision. So I was in golf course management at the time, so I knew some people down here.
Interesting.
Stayed in the golf
Yeah,
business
man.
for a while, and actually I sold with Liz starting in 2006 for about 5-6
So you
years.
sold real estate yourself?
Yeah, we were
Wow.
together. And funny enough, it was JD and Nancy Erb that were my mentors, because we sat next to them, and I always wanted to be JD and Nancy. And then they cut ship from CVS Home, and so yeah, we did extremely well and loved it from a relationship standpoint with our clients. Then we had Noah, and it doesn't work to have 2 real estate agents in the house working 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. It just does not work. So at that point, I branched away from real estate.
Interesting, man.
So now you're in insurance, right? So walk us through kind of those steps of what took place from you getting out of real estate and having kids, obviously, but you were still having kids because Lydia's not too young.
Yes.
But moving into like the insurance realm, like how did that go hand in hand together?
That's a good question. You know, the parallels and the meat and potatoes of real estate and insurance are the same. It's all about the relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You still control your destiny. You can still work for yourself. You still have the freedom of your schedule. A lot of sweat equity, but it's the same in real estate. So it allowed me still to have some freedom, and I'm a relationship guy. And again, the parallels to real estate, they're exactly the same. So insurance was a nice natural fit, and here we are.
What made you, were you just like, oh, let me check out insurance? Or did you know somebody who was like, hey, I'm doing this, I think you'd be great at it?
No, actually it was a brainstorming session between Liz and I on what avenue I would want to go. And I tried some other various positions in sales, and to me, I'm not high pressure, I'm all about the relationship.
Yeah.
So insurance, it came up, and I knew some people not directly in the business, but I went and talked with them, and it turned out the independent route in the insurance field is the best for my clients, and it turned out to be the best for me and my family as well.
Wow, man. So I love it how like every podcast we do, we have this reoccurring theme where it just comes back to why relationships are so important in this day and age, and any day and age, and you know, whether that's business or just personal, and man, it's so interesting.
Yeah, and I think too, like as we talk with a lot of people, and as I go and talk to, you know, other people that are across the nation and the country, it doesn't it's weird because I feel like Omaha, that's kind of like what makes Omaha or the Midwest different, right? Like people move here from the coast and they're like, man, the people here and the relationships that we built are so much different than what we had over in California or over in Florida or over on the coast. Like, and it's just interesting to me because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you guys, is business different over there or whatever? And it is. I mean, you lived in California, so you can probably speak into that a little bit, but that's what I think I love so much about the Midwest and Omaha. And there's times where I'm like, why do I live here? Like, usually that's around the winter time when there's gusts of wind and it's negative 20 degrees outside, and I'm like, what am I doing here? But then I always circle back around to, like, well, I could never leave this place based off of, like, you know, losing the friendships and the relationships that I've established and built here. Yeah. And so a lot of people are like, why do you live in Omaha? Why not go elsewhere? And I'm like, well, because we've like basically cemented ourselves in the foundation of like the people and the relationships that we built here. Could I go start a real estate company someplace else? Sure. But it would be extremely difficult compared to this.
Would it be the same vibe, same culture? No, it'd probably be a lot different. And you deal with that in a lot of different markets.
Yeah. And I think that's why we hit it off really well, is because it's the relationship side of it.
Yeah.
You knew that you could trust me right out of the gate, and and here we are 5-6 years later. So
I know.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite things that I get from Mike Kelly, this is a plug for you.
Thank you.
But it's amazing because like it never fails. Like I'll be driving and it'll be like my kid's birthday or Vanessa's birthday or it's my birthday, and I always get this text from Mike that's like, hey, somebody's birthday today, isn't it? And I'm like, dang man, like you are on top of it. Like when it comes to, but again, it goes back to like those relationships.
Yeah.
And I love just getting those text messages. Like, so shout out to you.
Yeah, man.
To continue to build those relationships.
Yeah, I mean that, it's all about that legacy, like my mission statement says. it's about us, but it's about our wives, it's about our kids, it's about
Yep.
the people around us. So those birthdays are important.
Yep.
Tell us.
Amen about that.
Yeah.
Tell us a story of like a crazy insurance story or something of maybe a very unique claim that you've seen or heard, or someone who called you in a panic, like, oh my gosh, a seagull just flew into my windshield or something like that.
That's exactly what it was. I guess one of the I don't know, it's a good story for me, not for the insureds, and you know these folks.
Don't drop any names.
Yeah, I can't do that. But they had a family of raccoons
Whoa.
in their attic.
Whoa.
And the interesting part is they bought the house, and the inspection process didn't show that this happy family of raccoons were up in their attic.
Yep.
And I don't know if you all know anything about raccoons or not, but that's not friendly.
Yeah.
And to clean it up is very expensive.
Oh yeah.
So the insurance company had they had their hands full with it because it was covered,
Mhm.
but the client has they're very light on their feet, so they were smiling through the process, but they couldn't stay in their house for a week because they had to have people come in and take care of it. But it was the first time for this particular company, and they're a large company across the country,
Mhm.
that they had to deal with the family of raccoons.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. I remember getting that phone call from my clients, and they were just like, so there's some scratching going on like in the walls, and we're not quite sure what's in there. And I was like, okay, we need to get somebody out there.
Yeah, and
There's like we can hear them, and it was one of those situations where it's like, you get somebody up in there, and it's like, oh, this isn't one raccoon. This is a family, a mama with her babies.
How many did they say? How many were in there?
I don't
I
remember.
would say it was like half a dozen when you
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's a
Yeah.
colony.
So it was interesting to say the least. But again, Mike Kelly stepping in, taking over, helping them through that process, and obviously the connections too. That's big when it's all about relationships. We talk about this a lot, but you have the right connections with different people. Be like, okay, hey, call this guy, this
Yeah.
company, whatever.
Get the pest inspector or
yeah.
whatever.
So it's great to have that network of people, to work with, and that's what we have. So.
And when
Yeah.
it comes to any kind of claim situation like that, my first question typically to the folks, including my own family, is everybody okay?
Yeah.
Outside of that, the house, the car, whatever. I mean, if
Yeah.
everybody's okay, and that usually takes them down a couple levels, because the reality of it is if you're all right, we can fix the house or the.
They can self-reflect and go, oh yes, so wait a minute, I am okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Good
Good
stuff.
Interesting. So what do you tell us a little bit about what you like about what you do? Beyond the relationships, we know we've covered that, but as far as insurance, like
When you get to the meat and potatoes of insurance, it's amazing to me how many gaps that people have in their current coverage,
Mhm.
and they have no idea.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if there was a tornado or a hailstorm or some kind of catastrophic loss, or even a simple fender bender,
yeah.
there are gaps in coverage. So if I can get and show people that that what you pay for is what you're going to get. So if you go cheap on something, there's a chance that something is missed.
Yeah.
So I do like the making sure that they're protected, holistic, right?
Yep.
It isn't. I'm not the cheapest date in town,
Mhm.
nor do I want to be.
Mhm.
So I enjoy that aspect of it, making sure that people are covered correctly.
Mhm.
And some of my top friends and clients, when I talk about their insurance with them, especially in the beginning, they're shocked at what they don't have.
Yep.
Interesting.
So I enjoy that, putting that piece of the puzzle together.
See, what you said just not only blows my mind, but doesn't make any sense, because I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I have gaps. Do I have
Yeah.
gaps in my coverage? What are these gaps that you speak of?
You're right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even in the real estate world, it's
Yep.
to cover your auto, you got to be very careful with that, because you start putting clients in your vehicle. We're into the next level of liability, so you got to be
wow.
careful with that kind of stuff. But it's fairly simple to me because I'm in it.
Mhm.
But to the other folks, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not about rate, it's about coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Wow.
you? Here's one thing that, as I was thinking about a question I wanted to ask, and something that I think a lot of clients would want to know, and just people out there, is I think when a lot of people hear insurance, they think like, ugh, like it's one of those where they're like, no, I don't want to talk about insurance. Like I hate insurance. I blah blah blah, but we have to have it.
Mhm.
Can you maybe speak into like why it's important, which obviously some people know this, but I think we experienced this as we went through this with my mom, you know, my dad passing, and realizing that, man, this life insurance that we thought was good insurance or whatever that they had really wasn't great insurance for them, you know, and you don't find that out until it actually happens, unfortunately, sometimes. But I think the light bulb moment went off for me, like going through that situation where I was like, I don't want that to happen to me or my family. Like, God forbid if something happened to me, I want to know that at least my family will be covered and taken care of. Yeah. And can you kind of speak to that a little bit as far as like, you know, why we should have, you know, life insurance and all these other different types of insurances that you do or that you can speak to some of these people to maybe eliminate that negative, like, I think connotation or thought process that a lot of people have when they think of insurance, and why it's not necessarily as important as maybe this thing over here that they should be investing in or buying, right? Insurance is like, I remember growing up, you know, like people were like, oh, do you have life insurance? And I'm like, I don't need life insurance. But now when you have a wife and 4 kids, yeah, you better have a good life insurance like plan set up, not just insurance on my house and insurance on my car, right? So can you kind of speak into that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a large onion with many different layers on it. It isn't just life insurance, it's properly designed life insurance, right? Because we all have different needs, and those needs change throughout your life. Unfortunately, you experienced it firsthand with your dad, and I know your mother extremely well. Properly designed life insurance is very important, and you're right, the stigma of it, when I mentioned life insurance, a lot of people they kind of shy away. No, I'm good, I have it at work, or I have enough, and my question is, do you really? I mean, it's something that we need to look at. So again, it's protecting the legacy.
Yep.
We're all working hard to build and create, and life insurance can be very inexpensive. I mean, if you're just starting out, you're a young family, you don't have kids, and you have debt of your house and some school loans, to buy life insurance to cover that is very inexpensive.
Yeah.
And a very smart play. The tough questions that I ask folks when I sit with them, what happens, you know, and I don't want to go morbid, but what happens if your spouse passes away on the way home from work today? What does your landscape look like tomorrow?
Yep.
That changes people's perspective.
Right. One income's gone, potentially.
Yeah, what happens? I mean, where's the income going? Are you going to be able to go back to work the following Monday? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yep.
And then the game really changes when you throw some kids in there, and you need to protect them. So again, designing the life insurance to protect your debt, but if a spouse passes away, you don't want the lifestyle of your children to change. You don't want to have to move out of, you don't want to be forced to move because you can't afford it. And life insurance can provide coverage to help during time of loss. Right?
Yep.
So it's very important. Yes, it can be expensive, but you know, people they're adamant about, well, they have to insure their home and their auto.
Wow.
What do you want to insure? What's the most important thing you have? Your ability to make an income and provide for your family or your spouse, or maybe you're creating a legacy for your nephew and you want to give him some cash if you were to pass away. So there's many different ways to go about it. I think it needs to be addressed.
Yep.
And
I agree.
And not everybody's into it, and I understand that, and I embrace that. But I don't, I won't take, you know, if I ask somebody, no, I'm good, I'll be like, well, we need to address it a little bit further than that, because I don't want to get the phone call from the spouse.
Oh, yeah.
Did we ever have this conversation about life insurance? My answer is going to be yes. We did.
Yep.
So I understand that people are fearful of it, and I get it. But really, it's quite simple, and we can be as complex as we want. And life insurance isn't just for death, if you will. There's many living benefits designed within life insurance, where you can use it to borrow against it. If you want to get some book money for your kids in college, there's many different ways to do it. So, and another important factor about life insurance, I don't want to beat this too much, but is like for my children, 10, 8, and 2, I have life insurance and policies on them. The important factor there, and people need to understand this, is it guarantees the insurability of the children. It seems like kids are getting more and more diagnosed with different ailments these days. And a lot of kids are taken off of the grid as far as getting life insurance because they can't get it anymore. You put a life insurance policy on a young kid, it's not that expensive, and they're insured their insurability is for life.
Wow,
So
that's interesting.
I understand it. It's
Good stuff.
So big time, yeah. I think you know, any viewers, watchers, like if you guys haven't had the conversations, or you're thinking about it, or it's something you don't have in your portfolio, especially if you're younger too, and even furthermore if you're older, it's definitely something that sounds like you need to talk to a professional about. Get a little bit more information and find out if it's a good thing to add, and have some additional coverage for yourself and your family.
I think so. And there's just like any operation, there are different levels of companies. You want to make sure that the company is, is solid. That they're not going to be going away anytime soon, because there's those kinds of companies out there as well. The particular company that I'm in a relationship with is called Emeritus, and they're just one of the bigger companies that have a clean slate and they're solid. So just be careful of that kind of stuff as well.
Well, that's that's good. That's why we have Mike, guys, because he's
Right.
gonna do that heavy lifting for you. He's gonna do the research, make sure he can find somebody that fits your needs. Do we have a question, Cass?
We do. Rochelle asked, what is the biggest challenge as an insurance agent to market for new relationships?
There you go. That's a good one.
The biggest challenge to market for new relationships?
Yeah.
Boy, the biggest challenge. I would say the biggest challenge, that's a good question. My referral partners, like these guys sitting at the table here, are solid. So the trust level is already there.
Yep.
But it's getting over the stigma of insurance,
Yeah.
right? So trying to capture new business, it's all about word of mouth and the high level of trust that you have with the relationship partners that you have. So fortunately, I have a pretty good sound base of referral partners, but it's getting over that stigma of insurance. Because you can go online and get very cheap insurance, right?
Yep.
So it's easier that way, but that's, I don't know how to answer that question. I guess it's kind of the stigma, especially in the life insurance realm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, I think, there's a lot of times where they're like, I get asked the question a lot, especially as it deals with YouTube.
Yeah.
When people are like, what kind of kickbacks do you get for referring business to like Mike or Levi? And I'm like, nothing. Like, I don't get any kickbacks. The reason why I refer them business is, again, because I trust them and I know they're going to take care of my clients as if they were my family. Like, that's the like, if I don't get anything out of it other than that, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So like, it's funny how the different perceptions are out there that like, oh, well, he works with Levi or he works with Mike a lot and he sends his clients here or there or whatever, and it's like, I don't do that other than just to continue to pass that relationship and take that relationship deeper with you guys and bring them into the family, right? Like,
Correct.
so it's one of those things that I think a lot of people don't quite understand sometimes, where it's, we don't get any kickbacks or anything from each other. It's just, I'm sending this person to you because I know they're going to take care of you.
Service level, care,
That's
trust.
the value that I try to bring to the table outside of just like, okay, let's talk about real estate needs. It's, no, let me introduce you to these people over here in these different areas and industries that you need to be a part of, right? To learn more, to gather more information on, and then more importantly, for someone else to trust to walk you through that process, because I'm not the professional in that industry.
Right. That's the kickback right there.
Yeah.
It's knowing that we're just an extension of each other. So the trust level is there. So when you
perfectly.
So it just goes hand in hand.
That is the kickback. I love that, guys. Speaking about that, though, I guess tell us a little bit about you starting your own agency and then going out and forming your own business out of insurance. What that looked like. What was the moment for you that the light bulb flickered where you were like, I need to break off. I need to do my own thing, have my own agency, be master of my own destiny. What was the thought process surrounding that?
Good question. The transition in my mind started this past February. Now, since I've been in insurance, one of my primary goals is to be owner or in partnership with somebody, co-ownership.
Yep.
And it did come to fruition. So it was this past February and March is when I really started thinking about it, and I started doing my education on what does it take to get out there and to be 100% on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is that because of how I have worked personally, professionally over the last several years, in addition to or coinciding with my wife Liz, we were able to, as a family, have me step out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really like about it is Mission Insurance Group is just that. I'm on a mission. I'm here to help those who want to be helped. And it's all based on my own personal principles. And again, it comes back into this relationship in this room right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, started in February, I started thinking about it. I just started doing my own investigating and realized that I could do it. I executed and pulled the trigger, and on July 6th, not too long ago, Mission Insurance Group was launched.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The precipice.
Love it. Love it.
So super exciting.
Awesome.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for my clients. I'm doing it for my wife and my kids. Because this is something this is my legacy that I will eventually hand over to the children if they so choose. If they want to get into very exciting insurance, they certainly can. So that's how that kind of came about. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Definitely.
Well, it does, and it leads us into the legacy question. Dun, dun, dun. But as you think about, the impact you want to make in our community here in Omaha, what's the legacy that you want to leave behind, or you want others to look back on and say about you and Mission, as you will eventually go on past Mission and you'll pass away and whatever, but what is it about that legacy and that mission here in Omaha that you want to leave and cement here and with either you or your family or with you yourself, as far as what you want others to think about or say about you when that time comes?
Good question. I would say the answer to that particular question is going to be the very opinion that you have. If I could picture, or if I could put it in print on what people would say about me and what I have done, through my agency or just as a man, I would want the opinion to be just that of yours, and to where I have had an impact on Ryan and his wife and his kids. He knows that it's solid and it's sincere and honest, doing the right things for the right reasons, not cutting any corners,
Yep.
and just doing it for anything other than myself.
Love it.
Dang.
So I don't know if you would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's like the most humble answer we've ever heard. Seriously.
I know, but it's real and it's true, and I know that because of all the times that Mike's come over to our house and we've sat down at the table and we've talked. And one of my favorite things that I love too is, Mike's always looking into, what's the best option for you guys, so if I can find something that's cheaper and that's the same coverage that you have, I'm going to switch you guys over. Or if we're like looking to move, or we're going into like something else, or buying a new car, it's like, hey, let me look back into like your car insurance and see if there's anything else out there that may be a better fit for you, or things like that. I appreciate that, but then I also appreciate more where when we're sitting at the table talking about more of those in-depth stuff like life insurance and the coverage for the kids and things like that, where Mike will literally sit there and be like, I would do the same for my kids. Like if I'm in your shoes right now, this is the coverage that I'm getting them. And I'm like, perfect, okay. Like I have that trust with Mike where it's like, I trust you, that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna move forward on that, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, I think we need people like that in our lives, like as we go about doing different things, like Vanessa and I are in the process now of looking at buying some investment properties, and so I'm not just going out and making that decision, right? Like I'm talking to other people that have done it before,
Consulting the experts,
and asking them like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what are some things we should know about? Hey, what are some things that we could do to prepare? Or who's a bank that I should probably go talk to maybe look at another opinion? Like, what's great about that is you've got that network of people in each one of those different areas where it's like, I know exactly who to go to if I have an insurance question. Like, I know exactly who to go to if I need a lending question answered, right? Like, so you have those people in your life for a specific reason, and to use them as leverage, basically to be like, man, I trust this guy, we have that relationship, he's gonna shoot it straight. And he's gonna tell me. And there's times where Mike's like, don't change, Don't change your coverage. Stay where you're at. There's a couple things out there, but this is the best one for you. And I'm like, okay. Like, and it's just, I don't have to waste time, you know, looking at different policies and different things. Like, he does that for me. So, again, I appreciate you, Mike, but Levi, I appreciate you too on that end of stuff.
It's a big love fest.
Shout out to Cass, my the boss, the assistant, who's always recording these and doing stuff in the background. But I think that's what life is about. Is, you know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, man, there's no better way to do life than to do it as a team.
Right.
You know, like,
you trust and that
so
you
many
care
times you see people
No
just
doubt.
grinding away like individually, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, surround yourself with people that
Yeah.
you can do life together with, to challenge you, to encourage you, to uplift you, to
Yeah.
and that's the other thing that I think we all have is we've got this life relationship outside of just our industries too. It's hey, how you doing in your walk? You know, how are you doing in with your wife and with your kids, and like holding each other accountable in those different areas. So it's more than just business, right? It's
No doubt.
I would argue it's more about the relationship that we have with one another to help spur one another on to be a better man, a better husband, a better leader wherever we're at. But
But on the note of surrounding yourself with good people, how can people connect with you?
yeah,
Good question. You know what? It's I'm kind of old school. I still like to talk on the phone with people.
Drop your number.
Yeah, right. So I mean, you can go the Facebook route. I'm on there.
Yeah.
My website is just awesome. It's super user friendly. It's low key, low maintenance. It's a good way to get in touch with me. So Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah. What's the website?
what is that website?
Yeah.
MissionINSGroup.com.
MissionINSgroup.com. There you go.
Yep.
What else? Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook,
Cool.
LinkedIn. You know, your traditional stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm not afraid to get on the phone either. You can text me, you can call me. I'm not an 8 to 5 guy. Our household has never been 8 to 5.
Mhm.
We've always been in this entrepreneur type schedule, and we have young kids, so there's no off button.
Yeah.
So it can be nights and weekends. It doesn't matter if the client needs me, or if you want to talk about whatever insurance wise or non-insurance for that matter.
Mhm.
I'm available. So
Right on.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming
Yeah, of
in.
course.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate your time. You guys connect with Mike. If you have any questions, insurance, life, health, whatever related, connect with this guy. He's going to give you a wealth of knowledge and make sure that you're making your smart decisions when it comes to your coverage. Thanks so much again for coming on.
Yeah,
Happy
thank
Friday, everyone. If you have any
Happy
questions
Friday.
or want to connect with Mike, hit him up on Facebook or shoot us a comment down below.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
yeah, thank you.
See you
all.
guys.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.